Are.
Oh, well, hello.
Oh, I was about to have adults are talking. Take your place.
Uh,
You-
you know what? It's a little too soon. So,
Next time, dude. Next time, you and I got to chat. Anyways,
about
hey,
what?
my girls.
Oh, that's not good.
Bobby, where'd you go, man? Don't do that to me.
Do you get nervous in front of the camera?
No, it's just we have a bit of an audience, and they're waiting impatiently for you.
Well, then just keep on waiting. Tell us what you want to talk about Palestine.
Well, okay, so you wanted to talk about Palestine and Israel briefly, at least to try and convince me to change my mind. And I'm already told you I wouldn't, but I'd hear you out. And then there was my China theory on the vaccine. And then there was the decision to cancel the sanctions against the pipeline running to Germany by Biden, which he historically, for 100% of all his decisions when he was in the Senate, has been wrong on foreign policy. So chalk this one up to another one. I'll tell you why.
Okay, I'm kind of excited about that one.
Yeah, that one to me is a pretty interesting one. And then I was just telling everybody here about that. What is it called? Friggin' Stolen Valor guy I was railing against today. Michael.
That fascinated me.
Oh, well, you weren't watching my TikToks then. Oh, that's great.
I had a busy day, man. I'm trying to make a motherfucking living. Trying to get a scholarship in here.
Yeah.
It's a Pineapple Express reference. All right. So Palestine.
Yep. What the hell?
Let's give them something to talk about.
Yeah, let's not spend too long on this one because, it's not like we're going to solve it or anything. I'm just curious where you're thinking.
That's fair enough. And that's also a good point. Like, we only have so much time in the day, right?
Yeah.
So
plus, as some would say, it's biblical. It's not like anybody's going to solve the damn thing. So.
I get nervous when people start talking biblical and people dying.
I'm just saying it goes back that far. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Well, I'm going to show you this graphic. But before I show you the graphic, I want to ask you what you think is okay with what Israel's done.
I'm of a mind that if you don't shoot at me, I'm not going to shoot at you. That's the gist of it. And there's honestly there's no reason to fire the rockets. That's it. That's the end of the story.
Okay. I'm not going to argue that point because I think you're right. I think that firing the rockets has drawn more attention to the situation, but that wasn't not in the way that I think they wanted. So let's do this. How much land has been, or are you okay with somebody taking your property?
No, but we do have eminent domain in our government, and if they so deem my space to be of commercial value, they can take it from me. Not that I agree with that. I definitely.
But they can't take it from you and have somebody else move in, right?
Right. That's correct. Okay. Now on that point, because I know where you're going with this, that property is owned by Israelis. I mean, the unfortunate thing here is it's Israeli law. That's again the bottom line. People don't seem to understand this. The Palestinians can now, are they treated fairly in the courts? Probably not. I'm not saying Israel's perfect. They probably treat them like crap in the courts, just like they treat them like crap in where they live. But yeah, that's the unfortunate world they live in. And here's the deal. And I don't mean, it's just, there are 5 instances in history where Israel has said, hey, here's our deal. And each one the first one started with Israel about the size of Gaza. And every offer throughout the decades, it's grown and grown to where it's present day Gaza, the locations they are now, and that's it. And that sucks for them because had their ancestors accepted the first deal, they probably would have successfully killed the Jews eventually, but they didn't. So just sucks to suck, but that's just the world they live in. And then the other thing is that if the idea that they're committing what is it, ethnic cleansing or whatever. Look, here's again the bottom line. If Israel wanted to, they could level that entire place, kill everyone in it, or even kick them out of their country and just move Jews in all over the place. They could do that in like a week. I mean, they don't. I think the other thing is that even though Israel provides them aid, food, and whatnot, I think the restrictions that are put in place on them are extremely harsh to the point where they can't grow and succeed. But also on the other end of the spectrum, you have Hamas, who is taking in all of the resources and money anyways and turning around and using it against Israel. So that's just the way, that's how I see it. Conservative immigrant in the house. All right, sorry, I'm done. Go, Bobby.
Well, I don't even know if I can. What was that old school movie, the Will Ferrell, when he's like blacked out?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what you just did to me. I'm like the Louisiana guy. I have nothing to say. But I'll ask you. You know, if you were to pick a side, which it's inconsequential, right? If you did. But let's pretend you pick a side. Like, which side would you side with as far as military or financial support?
Well, I mean, in a perfect world, I mean, I would
this
love.
Is hypothetical. You're not going to go actually send a check or anything. It's hypothetical.
Well, right, but I mean, is your question how would I support the Palestinian people, or
no? Like, if you had to choose sides, like U.S. is going to send money to one of these two countries.
Oh,
and we all got to vote. Which one would you vote for?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, because of the present state of things, I wouldn't send any support to the Palestinian people. I would.
So we can send money to Israel or to Palestine. Which one would you choose?
Well, I would choose Israel because of the present state of things.
Okay. Well, I disagree.
Okay, why is that?
Well, so I'm a big fan of freedom.
Weird.
So I'm gonna show you this map. I'll stop beating around the bush here. Oh, awesome. All right, so this is an animated map. Now, mind you, this is from Al Jazeera. Okay, so I'm gonna put that out there. And what's damn thing? Well, it started. I have to redo it. All right. I should you guys gonna be able to see that.
I mean, I've seen this map before. I just want to watch it do its thing again.
Well, you can't really read the numbers.
No, you can't. But explain the evolution that's going on the screen.
Yeah. So what's going on is white is Arab owned. Okay. So it started out Arab owned. Let's see if it goes back to this. This is 1994, so it's about to come back around. That's a 14.
Where does it start at? Does it start in the year?
97%. This is in year 1914, I think. And then this is 1939.
Okay.
And so then this is 1945.
Okay.
1947, I want to say. Yep, 1947 to 1949.
Yep.
And then this one, 1967 to 1993.
Okay.
And then 1993, they gave them like a little piece of land.
Right.
Okay.
So what is your point?
Okay, my point being is their land was taken from them.
Okay. What do you think the map would have looked like had it started back in, I don't know, 500 BC?
What would unicorns look like if they fucked each other? What are we talking about?
Well, unicorns don't exist, my man, but 500 BC sure did. And in 500 BC,
you weren't there. You can't prove it.
It was all Israel. And it had been all Israel. It had been Jews all the time. And even moving up through the 18 and 1900s, there are large numbers of Israelis there. And those Palestinians first of all, they weren't even deemed Palestinians until when? The 20s or 30s? The tribes and Arabs that lived there had been living there. Jews and Arabs have been living there for thousands of years, constantly shifting land and territory. So I don't see what it matters if you start that map at 1917 or if you started at 500 BC. These people are constant. They're nomads. They're constantly moving around, shifting. There's been wars and wars and wars.
Of course, they're shifting. They're getting attacked by Israelis.
No, they're not.
They have to shift. Oh, okay.
No. And then think about what happened with the Palestinians once they. Have you seen the Palestinian? What the fuck's it called? Refugee camp map, where the majority of them are in Jordan right now, and then the majority of Palestinians were absorbed by the Jordanians over the many decades.
Well, they had to be. Like, what's your point there?
My point is, there's tons of quote unquote Palestinians that never really existed until about 80 years ago. And the Jewish people have existed for thousands of years. So there's that.
So by that analogy, we should give back the land to Indians and take your house, because Indians were here in 500 BC and you weren't.
No, I wouldn't. That's the point. That's the point. I don't really care about the map you just showed.
But you just said that because Israel or because Jewish people were there before in 500 BC, they should be able to take it, is what you said.
Well, yeah, because I was going to your point about the map. I mean, so what if it started in 1917? The point of your map was it started in 1917, majority Palestinian. Well, my point is in 500 BC, it was majority Jews. So, and the Palestinian people didn't even exist. So,
I would say I would let both of them fight it out, and we shouldn't be involved at all.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Cool. Well, now we agree on that. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. I thought we were going to disagree on something.
No, you're fine. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the Israelis got the upper hand. It's a shit deal, but that's just the way it is. It ain't a perfect world, man.
For my political campaign, I will say that I do support not supporting Israel.
Interesting. Would you say you would support Israel's right to exist, but you just won't support them in any other, financially or militarily?
I mean, I think everyone has the right to exist. Like, this is a silly question.
No, okay. Well, but that's a good question, because at least you're telling people, hey, look, I think Israel, they're a sovereign nation. They have a right to be there. We're just not going to provide them any assistance because, frankly, they don't need it. Maybe like that.
And let's switch to the U.S. government and stuff that's going on with us, because I think that a lot of times politicians, and also on TikTok now, we're talking about shit that don't matter. Like, I got a goldfish. You want to see it? Talking about shit that don't matter. Like, all right.
Okay.
You're up.
Oh, sorry. Next hot topic in the news, if you will, has been the fact that a year ago, and when Trump was still in office, he had said that the COVID-19 Wuhan, China virus, whatever the hell name you want to call it, was likely released from a lab. And all the media, because Trump said it couldn't be true, right? So they railed against it immediately, turned it into a conspiracy theory, and now they have to reverse themselves. To include Fauci himself, have to reverse themselves and say they don't even know. They're like, yeah, it's a possibility. They're actually saying it's a possibility. It's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. No shit.
Dude, I honestly thought that everyone knew it was from a lab. Like,
yeah,
whenever I started seeing like all these things, like, did you know it might have come from a lab? I'm like, where the f did you think it came from?
Yeah,
that human transmission doesn't happen in a normal world that fast with a virus. It's like, oh my gosh, some people are so stupid.
Right. Well, especially when in the location where you have a lab that does this type of research in the same town, in the same city.
Function, if you want to be, hip right now. Like, I don't know how many people that are dumb as that have been saying there was a gain of function lab there. I'm like, you've never even heard the words gain of function before in your life. You're gonna throw it around. Okay, cool, whatever. Yes, gain of function. It was their MO at that lab, and there's a lot of obviously connections between them and Harvard and MIT and all these other universities. As a senator for the state of Tennessee, I'll get to the bottom of that. The buck stops here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So somebody asked
Hey,
if the
Bianca.
fact that's true, Lucas Bond. So I had a question. So if it was accidentally came from a lab, do you handle it any differently? And I don't know. Ask China that, because at the end of the day, what China did was allow it to spread throughout the entire world. And no, but they did, right? They restricted travel to Wuhan, but they didn't restrict travel out of Wuhan. What the fuck is that about? They didn't restrict travel outside of
You
their
and
own
I both
country.
know exactly what that's about.
Well, no shit, because they're like, oh, look at our opportunity to release a pandemic of a virus that isn't that lethal, but we're going to go ahead and lie to the world.
I sure hope that this doesn't get out. Like,
Exactly.
The vials outside.
Yeah,
Sprinkling it on the food.
Yeah. A highly contagious virus. Well, no shit, we live here, not China. It didn't fucking matter, because that's what a pandemic does. That's what a virus does. Especially one that contagious, spreads.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I don't mean to argue. I'm starting to have an argument with somebody. Oh, fucks to give. Oh, that's a good name, actually. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Would you say his bank account is zero for the F currency?
What's that? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Zero Fs.
Yeah, zero Fs. Probably zero. Yep. Well,
Bianca,
zero FCKS to give.
Oh man, Bianca has 8.4 thousand followers. What's up, man? I feel pretty proud right now.
Who does?
This girl is in my live chat.
Oh, cool.
If you ever want to come on the podcast or do a live stream with me, Bianca, let me know. Yeah.
But before we move on, I just want to address this one guy's comment, because he's like, does that change our response? And I would say our response was really good. And for anybody that wants to fall into the political sphere, like you're about to, oh fucks to give, you're going to just inherently be wrong unless you're willing to accept the fact that Biden was wrong, that Nancy Pelosi was wrong, that the entire media was wrong when Trump shut down international travel from China and then later on Europe. That's those. And yes, we actually have to, and believe it or not, in law, we have to take care of our American citizens. So yes, we actually had to take back the infected or the people that might have been infected from coming from a foreign country. That's just the way it's done. And there's no political meandering there. That's just how it is.
Don't meander politically in this thing.
Exactly.
That's what we're saying. No political meandering allowed.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I got to say that.
And so the only issue with our response was Trump's messaging. That was it.
Okay, well, let's back up that. You know, whenever somebody's doing, they're a little bit too busy to tell you exactly what they're doing. If I had to write a report every single day and address the nation every single day of my just daily tasks.
That's a good point.
Let alone making sure that our country is secure. I would find it, there would be zero Fs to give on my podium speech because I'm getting done in the background. So
very good point. And let me just add, if a certain president had a certain 90% of the media in favor of his messaging and in favor of instead of constantly trying to find ways to screw him over, the response also might have been a little different. So, there's that as well.
He didn't get a fair shake, but I will say that I freaked out. Like, man, y'all had me running for the hills because I get on the phone, like, I don't know, February 26th, 27th, and I'm like doing all the math after seeing the Wuhan hospital be put up in like 3 days. I'm like, well, first off, that's super impressive. I don't know if we can do that. I've seen
because they cut a lot of quarters.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not going to get into that. But, so that scared me. And then I see Italy. It was like rabies going through that bitch, just like left and right. And they shut down the borders. And when I saw that, I think that was like February 28th. I'm like, oh no, my worst nightmare has come true. Like, I'm just doing good in life. Finally, I got my squared away, and a pandemic is coming. Like 1917, 1918, actually came out in 1919. So I started researching 1919 flu and how many people didn't understand what was going on in the political realm. And it was being politicized. And I was like, well, surely that won't happen today because we're smarter than that, right? So then I get on the phone with my dad. I'm like, hey, you've heard about this virus sneaking around? He's like, yeah, I heard about it. But, those people in Italy, they don't have very good health care. what? Like, did you just say to me? Like, what does that have to do with? Okay, sure. Like, well, they're a socialist country, Bobby. Don't you understand? Yes, but the areas hit were like Milan and two other major cities that are like, well, some of the wealthiest places in the world. Hospitals are on point. Hung up with him, because we should just agree to disagree. And then I call my friend Kyle, and he says the exact same thing. And I said, Kyle, have you been watching Fox News by chance? What does that matter? Do you hate Trump? I'm like, no, I just hate that you were repeating what Tucker Carlson said on the fucking news at 10. And so I called my dad back and said, Dad, did you listen to Fox News by chance? He's like, yeah. Don't you know that? That's where all the information comes from. I'm like, oh, shit. And then all of a sudden I call my far left liberal friend, Dave. I'm like, Dave, this virus is real. He's like, yes, it is real. Did you see what Trump was wearing today? Can you believe he wore that? I'm like, what the fuck is
That's
going
your
on
focus.
right now?
Who cares anymore?
And so I packed my shit, got my dog, and we went to Idaho for like a week. I was like, you guys got y'all shit out because I'm out of here.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you bring that up because now a study that was done, I want to say it was by Harvard, but it was done by some Ivy League school, and it turns out that oh man, I'm gonna screw this up. But the gist of the research was that conservatives and Republicans are more in tune with actual facts when concerning the COVID virus. Oh yeah, Bill Maher put that on his own freaking show, and like liberals were like 70% off, and like Republicans were like on point, and he was right. He was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, how are they right?" Yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah, the Wuhan, I guess it's gonna be called like still a conspiracy. I don't know. But whenever I was on my trip to Idaho, I'm, constantly reading the databases. And actually, previous to that, was like March 18th. Previous to that, I think on March 7th, I estimated in a 10-day window, like so in 10 days, how many cases would be in Washington State, because that was actually, they're breaking out there,
Mm-hmm.
And in between that, the NBA shut down. And it just so happened the following Friday, that was Wednesday, following Friday was my 10-day mark, and I had like 600 people tune into my Facebook live stream because I was like, I was right. I was off by 2% on how many people would be infected in 10 days. That's a pretty good margin of error.
Yeah.
For a brand new pandemic. But I've been doing these numbers since it was in Italy. And then whenever I said, hey guys, I was within 2%, this thing's gonna spread really bad. And like half the people were saying, well, I guess you don't believe in Trump anymore. And then the other half of the people were saying, yeah, we're gonna get Trump out, right? I'm like, yo, motherfuckers don't understand what is coming out of my mouth right now. I'm trying to say there might be a pandemic. But at the end of the day, what I realized is that unfortunately, there's a small percentage of people that will listen and be open-minded about anything in life. And even that, 10, 15% of the population have things they won't change their mind on, no matter what. And so I stopped being friends with a lot of people.
Oh. Mm.
Well, they think I'm still their friend, but yeah. I actually ain't got time to be in the middle of a pandemic and people talking about what Tucker Carlson said. We got UFOs coming out June 1st, and I'm over here been talking about for 30 years, but I'm the crazy one, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they typed up in that report, or because it's. Well, I don't want to get into that topic right now, but okay. It will be interesting. One of the things I wanted to point out, I haven't made a TikTok about this yet, but with regards to the Wuhan virus, and the fact that it came from a lab, most likely, and the fact that it came from China, and the fact that the fact that they can't even find out if it was designed or if it was natural, I just find it very interesting.
It was designed, like that, right? Like the spike proteins were yeah, there's tons of scientists saying it was designed.
Oh, well, I was referring to Rand Paul talking about how you can't even tell because they call them like there was a term for it. No, he was suggesting that it was, but he was saying there's there are ways to mask this through, and I forget the term, to be honest, but you'll have to go. It was when he was grilling Fauci, like call them no-seeums or no-seeing. What, I forget the term. But anyways, the conspiracy theory I'm going to start putting out there is the fact that so here you have China, right? They have a huge issue facing them, like monumental, that nobody's talking about. In and around the year 2050, their population is going to shift pretty dramatically from a large labor force to a very large elderly force, of which they don't have anybody with regard. It's like a 1-to-7 ratio on younger people versus older people in China. So they also are very xenophobic. So they don't really want to have that immigration. They don't want to open up immigration and then allow a bunch of foreigners in and become naturalized, citizens to supplement the loss of labor they're going to face. And they also don't want to look like absolute murderers like they did in the last century when they killed 40 million people or whatever the number was.
Talk about this, or did I research this on my own?
You might have researched on your own, but in the Great Leap Forward,
the retirement problem is a real fucking thing in China.
What's that?
The retirement problem is a real thing.
Oh, I know. And so what's the best next thing for China to do? Create a virus that takes care of the elderly and just blame it on natural causes.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I did talk about this with somebody else in
oh yeah,
this time last year. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this ever since COVID came out. I was like,
but what if it wasn't just China?
I've kept it in my head.
You know who else? Hold on. Do you know who else is having the greatest number of retirees over the next decade?
Us.
Rhymes with the U.S.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll be able to handle our population. Plus, that's why we also have our immigration that we constantly flood in. I mean, right now we're at a 2-to-1 ratio. But
you got to think about how much Social Security has just been saved.
That's what I'm saying. We're at a 2-to-1 for Social Security. It used to be 26-to-1 when they first started it.
Did you know Ronald Reagan? You've heard of Ronald, not McDonald. Ronald Reagan.
It's a conspiracy. Hold up, Beth KO 831. If you're still there, it's a conspiracy theory. What's the deal? What do you mean this is ridiculous? What's ridiculous?
I'll show you ridiculous.
Oh, don't start. What are you doing? Jesus. I thought a conservative immigrant, you can go ahead and fact check me on that. I don't really remember where I heard those statistics from. The point is that we had a large labor force when we started Social Security and a very small retirement for people rolling into retirement. And that has since basically switched to where we have a very little labor force supporting a much larger retirement force. I don't really remember the numbers break out, but it's not sustainable. That's why it's going to be at 75% by 2037 or whatever.
You know what? We'll worry about that when we get there. I'm trying to get tomorrow. But I do have something I want to share about Ronald Reagan. And this is a plug for Bobby Money. So.
Go for it.
No shame. Ronald Reagan has a speech, and I definitely need to upload it soon. I saw 2 months ago, I think. I was looking at Ronald Reagan highlights, in the bathtub with my candles lit.
Before you start your story, I apologize. But hey, Beth KO, I was, that's just a thought that I've had in my head. We're all a little crazy sometimes, but you are correct. I am very logical about things, very centered. But, it just wouldn't, the Chinese don't surprise me. The CCP, they're literally planning for every scenario that affects their ability to stay in power. Whether they execute it or not is way beyond, my idea to, obviously that's their decisions to make. But so the fact that they would genetically create a virus to kill off a lot of their population is really not out of the realm of the possible with regards to what they're capable of doing.
Hold on,
all right, Bobby, my bad.
Hold on.
Oh, open the garage.
Good. All right, I got my puppy dog now. All right. He just chills in the front yard. He lets me know when he wants to come in.
Cool.
So Ronald Reagan, whenever he talked about Social Security, sure, I'm going to tell this story, man. I'm really trying to get this out. It was before he was running for president. believe, but he was talking about Social Security, and he said, why would the American population believe that the government can take care of their money? I think he gave an example of $200 or $100 a month into a Social Security program when they can have the same exact contract with a life insurance company and have a whole life insurance policy that's much better, and better sustainable for them and their family, and they also get to have control over it throughout their life. And he said it's ridiculous. Get whole life insurance, not Social Security. That's what whole life insurance is for. So anyway.
Right. No, and he's right. I mean, compound interest, with people using their own, controlling their own money would have been a whole lot better.
I mean, 5% rate of return every single year, average every single year, tax free over a 40-year period is pretty significant numbers. It's not going to get you rich, but it's going to be guaranteed money.
Yeah. Yep. What is it? I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Is that right, Lucas Baum?
I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's military grade. Oh
yeah.
Shit.
Oh God. Yeah. I love it when the commercial's like, it's military grade. I'm like, I'm not getting it.
remember those Ford commercials? Like, it's military grade. Oh, don't buy that, motherfucker.
Don't buy that, man. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, what's the next topic? Oh, okay. So the pipeline, right? The pipeline running from Russia to Germany. We've been switching to that one. So Biden, in his infinite wisdom of foreign policy, which he's 0 for like 100 on being right, decided to placate to Germany, who Germany's just been like, quit sanctioning our ability to get this pipeline finished. And so he said, okay, yeah, no more sanctions. You guys can finish your pipeline. And what people don't seem to understand is the Eastern European countries, right? Russia was already funneling oil and gas to Europe through them.
Would you say he was laying the pipe?
What's that?
Would you say he was laying the pipe?
Yes. And so Russia was already funneling all this the natural gas and fuel through the Eastern European countries. What Russia or Putin wants to go around them and do direct to Europe without having to go through Eastern Europe, because then it removes their interest. Like, nobody's no longer interested in what happens to them. And that's basically the case for everything the U.S. has ever done. We really only put our place in where we have self-aligned interest. Other than that, we don't really give a shit. And so, if the Eastern European countries no longer are of importance to Europe for delivering gas and fuel from Russia as a transit,
yes, it's going to sneak in.
Russia, yeah.
It rhymes with Prussia.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I disagree. For several factors. Sorry, hold on. This thing is way too bright. I think that from the Eastern European people that I've met, they are not really a big fan of becoming territories of Russia again.
Not that they would have a choice.
I'll put it this way: if I have friends in Latvia, if it came down to that, I would fly to Latvia to fight with them. So.
Okay. Very well.
I don't know how much good I can do. I can be like, hey, I'll live stream this. I don't know what else you want me to do.
Anyways, so now Russia is going to have a more direct control over geopolitical issues with regards to Europe. And they're also going to be more free to do what they want geographically on their border with places like Ukraine, because nobody's going to care.
Well, I'm going to go back to, unfortunately, we got to take care of us right now.
True.
And I'm not a big fan of that idea. But
true, but if all he had to do is keep the sanctions in place, but I get what you're saying.
See, I think that Biden's son may make a lot of money off this somehow.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That might be you. I would not be surprised if there is a huge money transaction going on right now that nobody's talking about. Yeah, that's a good one. You're probably right.
$1 billion.
If not Biden's son, Biden's brother. I mean, nobody talks about Biden's brother making millions hand over fist in Iraq.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. I wish I would say I wish I got in on that contract money, but I would feel good about the money.
Yeah. So really, that's it about that.
Hey, Fonda. Fonda's got a Honda in the back of her, but no, Miss Sullivan is one of my fan favorites. And Eddie Fritz, yeah, my mom made this shirt. My mom's awesome.
You fund the media. There you go.
That's why
Tell that to the CCP, because where the hell do you think who the hell do you think props them up when they don't make any revenue?
I mean, I ain't down with the CCP.
You know me.
Okay, so how much more time do I got with you?
15 minutes.
15 minutes, that's what she said. Okay. Oh, Fonda, yeah, this is my friend Corey. Oh, this is my friend Corey. This guy. He's a Intel officer.
Sorry. No, you go ahead. I'll comment about OFs here in a second.
Go ahead. No, you're good. I was saying hi.
Don't do that. You guys are intellectually bereft. Okay, pal.
What's graft mean? Just kidding. Idiot. I'm gonna use big words.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did you have to look that one up?
Hey, I'm intellectually. What would you call that? I take Viagra for my brain. Does that make sense?
That's what? God, I hope you what? Would say that again?
My brain is on Viagra.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah. I think about shit really hard.
I just
made that up. I think that was pretty
good. Question for you. So to Lisa0913 wants to know what your ethnic background is.
My ethnic background? American.
She's just curious if you're Irish or something like that.
I haven't gotten a letter from Ireland. I don't know.
Good Lord, man. My background is Irish. That's all there.
I know. I'm just giving you shit. Yeah, so my family actually came to America. I want to say my uncle traced it back to like 1650 something. And it used to be Saint Eagle from Ireland. And now it's Stegall, because we weren't too smart. We're like, yeah, just write all that shit out. Saint Eagle is badass, though.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to talk about? You got about 10 minutes.
Okay. Let's talk about something controversial.
Okay.
This video may be debunked or banned. I'm not sure. I'm using keywords here. About the algorithm. I think that it hurts my feelings seeing so many people who are on the pro-Trump train of last year. I guess I thought I understood some of the people that were my friends, and they're still my friends. But as they've become more and more popular on social media, I'm really proud of them. But it seems they spew the same stuff that we were upset about last year from the other side. And I see more negative remarks versus positive remarks on people they support. So it worries me that the tables have turned, and now there's so many people that are basically hating for likes.
I've been thinking about that too, but I don't know how often they're getting their likes. I mean, it's almost like their own echo chamber. Like the 500,000 that might follow this guy, or the same 500 is following that guy, is the same.
I only got 11,000, bro, and I'm like stoked about it.
You know what?
Half people follow me, and I'm like, hey, did you hear how this guy is? No, I'm like, hey, this guy is local, or this politician's doing a great job. Y'all go follow him, support him, because we need to have people. Okay, you're a leader, so you're a leader. Hold on, you're a leader. Whenever you're in a position of leadership for your troops in high intense, obviously, your entire career, was it better to punish and point out the negative people, or was it better to congratulate and promote and give admiration to the people who are doing the right thing?
Well, of course, the latter.
Well, you say of course, but apparently we don't know that.
Well,
I mean,
because look, here's the thing, though. What you're talking about is different than what people's interests are. So people fundamentally like drama. They can have their ideals in their head. They can have other values and everything else, but their basic nature is drama and adherence to their baser instincts, if you will. And
you don't think that drama is like my brother in Oklahoma is starting drama in a good way, but it's not popular to do because it's not easy to do.
Right. That's exactly why our accounts grow so slowly, and other people that are speaking to the hearts and are angry, and they get a bigger account. Look at Mute the Media, right? Mute the Media on the left. Okay, so he admits this if people bother to listen, but he tried to grow an account where it was very intellectual, very kind of like center left, and he was getting no traction. Yeah, getting zero traction. So instead, he went on attack. And he does this to suck people in so he can then talk about things from at an intellectual level. And he may lose followers after he does that, but he gains a base that is like, oh, yeah, this guy's kind of right. Or this guy makes me think. From the right's perspective, nobody's really doing that.
I disagree. I've seen people on the left and right do that. And at the end of the day, they end up in their own echo chambers. It's a good mentality to have.
Hold up.
But if you can't talk the talk while you do it, you can't walk the walk after you're there.
Do you know Miles Rahimi?
Did I sleep with him?
So he's an Oklahoma GOP communications director, and he said everything you're saying is true. So
Jay Stegall, yeah, that's my brother.
Wait, that's your brother?
Yeah.
Oh, then why did you think about it?
I didn't think about anything.
I asked you. So wait, I'm confused. Do you know Miles? Is he your brother?
No, I don't know Miles. I said Jay Stegall is my brother. So Miles,
right?
Is my brother.
And he is saying, I'm just saying, you got a little confirmation there from a guy that's watching me on my channel. I don't know if he watches you too, but he's like, I know him. Okay, so he knows your brother. That's awesome.
Oh, don't tell him all the shit I say on here, please. He'll get so pissed off.
Don't get you in the public eye. I'm just kidding.
You remember Tommy Boy? I'm the Tommy Boy.
Anyway,
it's black sheep. It's black sheep.
So I don't know if we're really talking about the same thing. But to your original point, I agree.
Sorry, I have a great question here, and this is something we can hit on until you get off here. I'm probably gonna stay up for an hour to talk about this.
Well, I have a family to get to. So.
Oh well, okay. So important. Values much? Ed Frischke. Man, I'm butchering your name. Do you think mainstream media will fail? If so, will it evolve or be catastrophic event? Well, my friend, wouldn't you know that? And that's actually already happening right now that people don't realize. And I have a hard time figuring out how to communicate this. But the mainstream media has already infected. I say infected. I mean, they're making money. I can't be mad at them about it. But they're already on all these platforms paying a lot of creators. You'd be very surprised how much the mainstream media is ahead of the game. It's like the people who had the printing press when television came out. Some of the printing presses that were larger bought the television shows. And when the television became satellite, guess who had the satellite? The television shows, or the television stations that, were monopolies, the Walmarts, or the Foxes, the CNNs. So, they're already, they're amongst us. So, but we have a chance to fight back.
Against the media?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, prior, well, even now, what are there, like 6 companies that control all the major channels of the media?
I don't know. That's what I read from somebody who controls all the shit. So,
I guess my thing is that thanks to the internet, people are less. I guess this has been going on for hundreds of years. So
We've had internet for 100 years.
No, the media controlling and the free press and the printed press and all
Catholic
of it has
Church.
always been lies. All of it has
Catholic
always
Church.
been, yeah, all of it. Let's see. Platform Project 46. Gonna have to check that out, Miles.
Hey, Miles, please follow me. I'll follow you back.
But
Don't tell
this
my
has been
brother.
going on for centuries, and for the first time, really in history, everybody has their own printing press, and so I mean, the issue, the thing I tell everybody now is that whenever they hear anything, especially on like the primary channels like CNN or Fox, to first say to yourself or in response in your head, is that true? And versus saying, oh yeah, see, proves my bias or proves, yep, I thought so. Like immediately
I
coming
pissed
away.
off my brother Jay regularly as children, and as late up to probably this year by asking him, "How do you know that?" In my family, I'm known as the dweeb who's on his phone researching, like, "Are you sure that's right?" Not many people are programmed like that, but I think the younger generation is. And so the question is, how do people like you and I effectively give them hope? Because that's the most important thing in society to me. How to give them hope, and how do you give them direction when there are so many questions to be asked?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Sometimes I sit here and I'm like, oh, we're screwed because when you have 81 million people, whether they were real people or not, but when you have 81 million people voting for the least popular man to run for president, and it makes you wonder what goes through their heads. And if it's not 81, at least 69 did. At least 69 million did, and so that's a lot of people.
That's kind of a funny number, but I'm not going to go there.
That's a lot of people that at the end of the day were like, yep, I want Biden to be my president. It's like, why? And it's because they get brainwashed by the news they watch.
And honestly, but I think that a lot of people that are in power right now are scared, and they should be, for financial concerns. Because when you're that wealthy, I don't know what it feels like. I mean, I know what it feels like to get my Jeep stolen in the middle of the night when I'm trying to go get coffee. But when you're that wealthy and you have that much influence, all of a sudden when you see TikTokers more famous than Hollywood stars, like, you got to believe that they're shaking in their boots. I've seen more people from Hollywood in commercials on Hulu ever in history.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these mammer jammers are hurting for a job.
Well, you say that, but here's the other thing. Prior to you seeing this on the media in America, they'd already been doing this overseas for decades. Like when I traveled Southeast Asia, what the hell's his name? Why can't I think of his name? I'm having a brain fart right now. Wolf of Wall Street.
Leonardo.
Thank you. Leonardo DiCaprio had his own little watch commercial and poster all over Southeast Asia. Same with a lot of famous A-star actors. So I'm not surprised that that in order to get to supplement their income, they're finally starting to bring them into the American market. But they're still. I mean, I get what your point is, but it's just very slow because they're going to be fine for the next.
Did you call me slow?
No, I said it's going to. Oh, yeah, okay, let's go. I mean,
look, I'm gonna troll my hairdo right now. No, I ain't gonna fight you. All right. Shofar. I'm not gonna say that out loud.
Me too, Beth.
Yeah,
me too.
This guy just said a Denzel Washington quote, which is actually so true. That if you don't watch the news,
okay, hold up. So Beth, when I say me too, I mean I really wish the courts would have actually bothered to hear the evidence instead of dismissing it outright for a typo, or because it didn't. What was it? Didn't have standing, which we all know, or at least those of us that bothered to do the research. Really, in lawyer judicial talk means I don't really want to hear your case because of.
You know what I wish? I wish the president would have done what the president should have done and invoked martial law and made them watch the shit. And made them look at the documents.
Well, he could have done that without doing that, but
Okay, well, maybe the martial law was a little too far, but I'm saying, like,
So,
he
so
had the
it's-
power. He had the power and the influence. Like, he could have flown his big, brand new Air Force One, oh sweet, Air Force jet to the courthouse and said, "I'm staying here until you motherfuckers read all the evidence that I have."
Right.
Mind you,
And
he
here,
had a lot going on. But I'm gonna say, hold on. I love Trump for what he has done because he's, really stirred the pot.
right.
But now, time will tell if that pot turns out to be a big pile of doo-doo that we're stirring.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, and I'll kind of close. We'll start to close because I'm being told I need to get off. But because I'm going to bring this up with Mute the Media as well, because I mean, the oligarchy exists. The whole fact that people just keep changing hands, but are all constantly in power, both private and public sector exists. So when Trump comes in and says, "I'm going to run for president and start cleaning house," they really got scared and threatened and kind of almost how dare you interrupt the process and the way things are done. And so they turned all their efforts to get him out when he was and then with regards to people constantly being brainwashed by the media and social media, people worried more about what Trump said than his actions, and I just find that confounds me because
You're in the military.
actions speak louder than words, though. If I'm going to say, "Hey, you're a piece of shit, but I'm going to pick you up off the ground,"
You're telling me that there was no political affiliation to getting promoted in your branch.
Oh, no. Let's not get off topic here. I get what you're saying, but my point is that if a person says, "Hey, that guy's a scumbag," but then turns around and gives his family money because they're falling on hard times, what do you focus on more? The fact that he said it to his face, he's a scumbag, or the fact that the man actually gave his own money to somebody else to help them? You should focus on the action, not the words. But the American people focus so much on the words because they're like, "Well, what does the media tell me I should believe today about Trump?" Versus, "Hey, what did Trump do for America today?" Trump did a lot of good. And he was a populist president that he did both left and right kind of things. And none of the people inside the Beltway liked it. Nobody at the elites liked it. They didn't like him. Yeah, they hated it. And so they got him out of there. And my thing is like, okay, so then why? So if people really hate that kind of system where there's always these people in power telling you what to do, what to think, and whatever, and here comes Trump saying, "Hey, I had a better way of doing things, cleaning a house, showing you that you can get shit done if you just press it the right way." And I don't.
He proved to me that you don't have to be in
understand.
office to be president, and that was awesome.
What's that?
You don't have to be in office or have any political background to become president of the United States. Like, that is ballerism.
Well, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't, but apparently you need $1 billion because that's exactly. I mean, like,
Well, luckily that's what I'm trying to raise here.
His entire.
If you guys could donate $1 right now, if everybody donates $1 right now, I'll have $3, and it starts at $1 billion. You got to start somewhere.
There you go. Anyways, so I just find it interesting that everybody hated him so much because the media told them to, and that they can't recognize the good he did because they're too blind about being hated.
All my Republican friends and family told me that I was an idiot for thinking Trump was going to win in 2015 when I said, "Hey, by the way, I know that you guys don't believe me in anything I say, but Trump just announced his presidency and this motherfucker's going to win." Oh, okay, Bob.
Good early call. All right, let's wrap. Let's wrap it up. I got to go. So, do you have any closing things you want to say?
Yeah, I have a way bigger manhood than he does. My balls hang way lower, probably much heavier. I think that he's a great guy. Thank you very much for this conversation tonight. I look forward to our future conversations, and thank you everyone who was watching. Corey and I are really trying to start a productive conversation each Thursday. So thank you for your time, Corey, and thank you for everyone who's watching, and I look forward to next week.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody has any topics that they want us to talk about, please shoot them my way or his. And also, I will start advertising more. It's so funny because I'm all about getting a solid viewpoint out there, but I'm not necessarily caring about advertising. But I'm going to start changing that. So we need to start.
Well, I know social media marketing genius.
Yeah. It's like, what? You are. Well, then get to it, man. Get to it.
I know.
All right.
That's what.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Later.